Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy 7 from 7TCG. And thank you guys for joining me in 2023. I'm excited for our brand new year. But let's get straight to it. We have our first episode of Art of War in 2023. I believe this is episode 9. Could be wrong on that. But I've actually been meaning to get a BRAIR game on the channel and a LEXI game on the channel. And this has happened to be my feed. The January AGE Open Top 8. This is by Arcane Game and Events. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of this store, but this is a store that I would be interested in looking more into if they're going to be doing open series. That means regular gameplay. And it's just the top 8. And lo and behold, I see the first game starting. And it's BRAIR versus LEXI, and I'm just like, I see literally no better opportunity. Kill two birds with one stone. This is like a really cool matchup as well. And Chris Eiley, obviously world's runner-up, fantastic player, and would love to get one of his games in there. So let's go ahead and start. There we go. Let's mute that. Now I don't know how long ago this was. There's no way this is played like this, right? I literally glanced at the starting screen and seen BRAIR versus LEXI is... Okay, there we go. Okay. So, starting out with, obviously, some major talking points, looking at the armor, and obviously the hero. So, we do have a Royal BRAIR here. So, the upside that Royal BRAIR has, it has very, very explosive turns where it can draw a significant amount of cards and out-advantage your opponent. And a lot of this stuff can be for free because you also have to go token and cash can be played for 0. This also gives the ability to filter turn 1 without letting your opponent filter, which is, I think, super freaking underrated. Obviously, the downside is you don't actually have a helmet that blocks, which is huge because Crown draws a card and blocks. I can assume this is probably Spellbound Creepers. I believe that's what they've been playing with. Robot, I've seen some snaps, but I believe the majority of people are running Spellbound. And then obviously Tunic, because this is going to be a grindier game. And then we have Grasp because you're playing Runeblade. Then we have on the LEXI side, we have a very, very standard setup. We see Horizon, Bracers, Tunic, and Snapdragon Scalers. The only difference you would see is maybe some LEXIs running the Perch Grapplers if they want to maybe have like a few efficient blocks. But largely you're going to be seeing this setup just about every single time, and I do think this is correct. We also do see that the BRAIR is starting. The one good thing about BRAIR obviously starting, because again, you can do like a really cool mind game where you can pass priority like just right now. And if LEXI wants to have like that super explosive like 6-card hand, Chris would have to immediately like lose cards out of his hand. And technically, Rana has an action point. So this could threaten a lot of damage this way if Chris wants to get greedy. But also, I also think BRAIR does have the ability to leak damage, obviously because of one Arcane Barrier. So at minimum, I think 2 could get through unless, again, Chris wants to maybe like pitch a blue to load something, have 2 floating, and like AB one of it, or vice versa, like pitch a blue, load 2 things, and Arcane Barrier one of it. So let's see how this ends up playing out. This is a long game. This is okay. No, this is the whole top 8. I would say it looks like a long game. And let's see if we can spot the hand here. I thought I spotted a few cards. See if we can. Oh, okay. Well, I think I see a Swarming Gloomville, I believe it's a Burgeoning Ravenous Rabble, and the 4th card I can't make out. So we're going to start off by, okay, making a rune chant, obviously makes sense to me. Because I cannot spot this card over here. Cannot spot it. I do think leading off with this Ravenous, wait, is it just double Ravenous Rabble? Hold on. Actually might just be double Ravenous Rabble. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it's over from Ravnish Trouble, and I definitely agree with these. There is some merit to doing Swarming Gloomveil first. The reason to do that would be is if for some reason the Ravnish Trouble would hit. Obviously, you don't plan on it hitting, but if it was to hit, it makes the embodiment of Earth, which now pumps up the Swarming Gloomveil up to 4. So it'd be a little bit, it'd be 1 extra damage for free. And obviously, this top card we can use to figure out what we want to do with the rest of our turn. Obviously, for some reason, we're going to elect to put the card this way for absolutely no reason, but, you know, sure, why not? I believe looking in the hand, I believe I see Bolt and Shot. That's it. Chilling Lake Frigid being pitched, so that we will be A-being a little bit, not letting that leak through freely. And Chilling Ice Fane, blocking for 3. I don't know how much this is coming in for. I would assume 2, because I didn't see them adjusting life totals. Of course, thinking about this block here. I'm trying to think what is the most logical thing to do here. So if this hits, obviously this would get a embodiment of Earth, which would make the BRAIR turn very efficient if they wanted to block. Now obviously, if Chris was to just throw a 3 block in front of this, you have 2 cards in hand. You can expect like another like 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and then a Rosetta Thorn, which would be a pretty good turn for the BRAIR. I'd say leaking some good damage turn 1. Let's see how this develops. I might be greedy. I might not block this because of like they have like a 0 or 1 cost go again, and then snatch. It's just all bad. We've leaked damage for almost no reason if something like that happens. Chris taking hard on this one. Chris gonna take it because again we do not know what else could be coming. Obviously we know it's a Ravnish Travel. Is Ravnish Travel just? Cause I believe it was a blue. Okay, so we do want the Arsenal, which obviously doesn't make sense here, so we're just gonna throw the Rosetta Thorn. Likely we could probably see like 1 card and then AB1 here to soak up damage and just go up down to 36. It's just kind of a free block. Oh, we just taken it? Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. So he has a Bolt and Shot in hand. Chris does. So what we could see is Bolt and Shot loaded, and if like this card right here is a pump, like an Ice Quake, it turns the Bolt and Shot on for go again. That could be what we're looking at. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it was 2. So it's an endless arrow. So he is hoping to blind draw a pump. If he like misses on a pump, this is pretty bad. Oh, can you get off my screen? Thank you. I'm trying to swap if he has a pump. I see at least 2 arrows so far. Oh dear God. Oh Jesus. Okay, so Chris Eiley gets, I don't want to say bailed out here by the Rain Razors here, but this is very, very fortunate. If we can see a minimum of 4 arrows this turn, that's just pretty much, that's extra 2 cards, right? That's another 8 damage. And if you want to say the average card in this deck is 4 damage, no, that's just that's 2 cards. This also can help reach certain breakpoints, and the best thing you can do is make awkward breakpoints for your opponent. So let's say you naturally have a card that's a 1 for 5 that would get pumped for up to 6 or go again. You can now come for 1 up for 7, and the two most awkward numbers to block and flush about are 5 and 7. You might be asking, why are these the two most awkward? So let's start with 5. The reason why 5 is the most awkward, because obviously 3 blocks do not cover this. 2 leaks through. Well, what about your D-Rex? Your X1 for 4 does not block this. Neither one of these block this. A lot of times what you'll see is like a 2 block from the equipment and a 3 block from hand to want to block this. And that is extremely efficient for you. If you can get equipment block out your opponent, you're extremely happy. If you can get 2 cards and they block 6, well, now they're over blocking and losing 2 cards when otherwise they may not have needed to. Now, same thing for 7. Let's talk about 7. So obviously, all the principles here are the same. But what's even cooler about this is they can give you 2 3 blocks. Still comes through. Now, what they usually would have to do is give you a 3 block, let's say D-React. 7. Obviously, BRAIR's not really playing D-Reacts. Now, BRAIR is a little thankful here that we do have a embodiment of Earth, so this actually is very, very likely to happen, but most decks don't. Alternatively, if you don't run the D-Reacts, you got to give, an equipment plus 2 cards, which is absolutely horrible. Or if you get 3 cards from your opponent and you still have more to come, like you win this, you automatically will just win this turn cycle. Even if you deal 1 damage, you will win the turn cycle, which is absolutely huge. Because then your opponent's, again, not doing much damage with you, which means you can keep a 5 to 6 card hand, and then continue pushing massive damage back. So this Rain Razor alone right here can actually just, this is going to sound really weird saying this. This Rain Razor specifically right here could actually just win Chris the game. He could do literally 5 damage this whole entire turn, and this Rain Razor could win the game, which is really cool. So this does appear to be a red Bolton shot. So this was going to come in for a base of 6, which is fine. A 0 for 6 is pretty cool with Go Again. If you just said, hey, here's a 0 for 6 with Go Again, I think you would take that almost any day of the week. I really do wish they would use dice, but we got 6 coming in with Go Again. And the really, really cool thing is this Emissaro most likely is coming at the end of the chain. I would say more than not, it's almost guaranteed to hit. Now, I did spot 2 2 blocks in the hand, so... Oh, okay, hold on. So we have a Razor Reflex, a Coax of Commotion, looks like maybe a second Coax of Commotion, and a Tome of Harvest. So this hand's actually not good. And we obviously know the Ravenous Rod was an arsenal. So if we just took this hand at max value, we have 4, 8. We can pitch Razor Reflex one of them. So we have 4. This get Razor Reflex up to 7. So we have 11. Let's say we want a Ravenous Rabble, and it's a 4, so that's 15. And then this will come for 4. So we have 19 damage in our hand. Which, I think that's, just to say you have a casual half of someone's starting life total is pretty cool. Plus, we obviously have effects here, where if we want to get a little spicier, obviously, we could do things like, draw a card and give it Go Again. Obviously, the one thing I totally forgot is he would need Go Again, so he would need to throw this, Razor Reflex it, give a Quicken token, which, again, would be dangerous. And then he could do kind of like the same play that we just talked about. But, like, I don't even know if you're giving effects, because, like, do you really want to give LEXI another card? I would say no. Do you really want to give LEXI a Quicken token? No. Like, the life rarely ever gets chosen. Maybe you just do it to push damage, and then you obviously gonna have this Ravenous Rabble, just hoping it flips it red. So like I said, we have 19 damage on a turn. Let's keep a track of that. 19 damage is what we believe we can do there. It should pop back up, right? Yes, it does. Wait, is that... Wait a minute. I don't think that's a Hoax of Commotion. That... Is that Life of the Party? I can't... Oh, God, that art's bugging me. I can't remember what art that is. Because I was thinking that was Coax Motion, 2 Coax Motion, but I don't think one of these cards is Coax. Alright, so we're going to see 6 damage taken. Still retaining that damage here. And obviously we don't need to keep track of how much Chris is doing because we can easily just subtract. So we're going to activate Voltaire. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. So as bad as you thought this turn was about to be, it is about to get worse. So let's see if we can spell what we draw here. Chilling Ice Fan. Can't tell. Ice card? So it does appear to have whiffed on the ice card. I can't 100% tell. We have a Heat Seeker. I think Heat Seeker is still phenomenal. So we just have a lot of raw damage in this. We do have Voltaire with 1 activation left because we just disactivate Voltaire. We are loading a Heat Seeker, most likely even to go again. So this is going to use a resource, right? Unless he prepaid for it. Wait, hold on. Activate Voltaire, 2 floating. 3 of a kind, 2 floating. Activate Voltaire, 1 floating. No, he shouldn't have this resource. But this is going to be a 7 go again. 1 hit, give me a free arsenal. Oh, give him the card. 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 Just this, literally just this 1 card leaving the hand nerfs this turn's damage by so much, by the way. I wonder, do they have the players mic'd up? Let me see real quick. No, there is commentators. I guess I could look down here. What is this card art? I'm looking so... I think that, like, is that Life of the Party? I actually just can't tell. But it looks like Life of the Party. I mean, we're probably going to find out. Still Ravenous Rabble. Has not changed. Wait. Hold on. Is this a this round to me? Not even a Coax of Commotion? Nah, hold on. Nah, there's just no way. Is this a this rounds on me? Oh my lord. Okay, so yeah, the BRAIR player's about to get absolutely blown up. Yep, that was a this rounds on me. But luckily enough, this is a block 7, which covers this up. But I think the game might just be over because of this 1 turn. I don't see BRAIR recovering. Oh, and it's another one. Okay. Alright, Chris. I see you, Chris. Alright, so here's another 7. So, what we can do... Hold on. So, Life of the Party. I'm just going to assume... Let's just say it's a 3 block. Okay, we're now we're taking damage, so we're going to find out. Let me see how much damage... Okay, so this is... I can't see the block value. So, let's say this... Let's just give it a 3 block, right? So, we have 4... So we have another 7 block in our hand. But like damage wise, I just don't think we have enough. And now like this life lead is going to be probably too large. And one thing we got to look at for Chris. So this is coming in for 6, as we said earlier. Roundup might actually just have to block this. As horrible as it would be to have to do, you may just have to block this. If this even leaks 1 damage, this is going to come back, and he wants to bullseye bracer this thing in. Obviously, it would be popping snaps. If he bullseye bracers this in and gives it +1, now it's coming in for 7 as well. Like, and he's still gonna have cards left in his hand after all this. I think you have to block. I think you legit have to block this. There's just no way. There's just no way you let this endless arrow hit. We're getting the equipment and the. Is that cash in? Hold on, because I have a cash in on my desk. I think this is a cash in. That's a cash in. So you can destroy any number of weapons, equipment, or non-token items. Oh, you can destroy your rune chant. Oh, you can destroy your rune chants and make silver. Okay, I'm in you. I'm in there. I'm in there with you. Okay. How much does it block for? I didn't even look. Blocks are 2. Yeah, that's why the equipment had to get thrown. So Chris is just gonna close the chain here. There's obviously no reason to extend any further. We got the whole entire hand from BRAIR. Heatseeker did hit, so we have a drill shot going straight in Arsenal, and we're going to have a 6-card hand with BRAIR throwing nothing here. So you guys can see what I was talking about earlier, where that Rain Razors legit might just win the whole entire game there. We had significant damage. We had 13 damage go through on this end. We had 13 damage go through. That is an absolutely horrible 13. Let me restart that, please. Take 2. We had 13 damage be returned. You know how much is being returned back? 0. Zero damage is being returned. Now we have an 8 life threshold, which is now 2 cards. So Rihanna has to do 2 0 for 4s. Wow, my pen is just going crazy. We have to do 2 0 for 4s just to recover this life lead, right? We're already starting off in the back foot. We're not pushing a massive amount of damage. So if they were to trade, let's say Chris just chips in for 5 damage. Like, you know, we'll give him 6 damage. He just chips in 6 damage, like a turn, and just blocks like 6 back. He's just gonna eventually just win this game because of this life disparity, like, and how the math works out. And this is all literally due to Rain Razors pushing certain breakpoints, giving the bolt and shot go again. This is just disgusting. I don't even know if you throw the Ravenous Rabble. I don't know if you throw it. Especially if it reveals a blue. Like, the game is super over, because now you don't have an arsenal going into another big turn, and you're not doing damage. Alright, so we see Overload, Burgeoning, Captain's Call. We're almost, oh, Jesus Lord. Yeah, I think this game is actually just over. It looks at a 6-card hand, and you have a very, very low damage hand, so you have Overload if you pump it by 2 from Captain's Call. That's 5 Dominate. If it hits, go again. Which it's probably gonna hit. So we can deal 5. I have a travel, deal 4. That's 9. Rosetta, probably 11. This is probably like an 11 damage hand safely, because you're probably gonna want to arsenal something. Which, yeah, it would even up the life total. You'd be a little bit ahead. But, like, that's just assuming you get to have this hand. Even if you eat all that, Chris is going to come back with a barrage of just absolute destruction. You see Bolt and Shot, I believe Frostlock. Can't tell about everything else, unfortunately. Is he just thinking about sending the drill shot? So let's look about what could happen here if he's just sending drill shot. I think with the hand that has, I think this is a clear, clear representation that we are popping Snapdragon scalers. Because there would be no reason to at least reveal the LEXI, regardless of what it is, and just arsenal something else if you were just going to shoot drill shot. So there's not much I can really comment about the turn because we don't really know anything yet. If this does hit, hitting the grasp would be pretty nice. I mean, no matter what Chris hits, if he hits the spellbound creepers or the grass, you're just leaving them with one block the rest of the game. Because like blocking with Tunic early is just so bad. Or we're going to see it in EC Direct too, because this is only coming in for 3. I'm at 4. Because I believe that this is a red drill shot. Are you just letting us hit? By the way, doesn't Capricorn only block for 2? Or am I like extremely wrong? So unless this covers us up. Okay, no, it has to block for 3. There's just no way it doesn't block for 3. So effectively, this is not as if drill shot hit, but the effect that drill shot would do, putting a counter on something. Obviously, grasp is now block-wise gone for the game. So now we just have spellbound creepers to cushion life. No, it's still hitting. Wait, so Captain's Call does only block for 2 because they just adjusted life. So spellbound creepers is gone. Okay, so Grana has no block from equipment for the rest of this game. So now this 26 life total is very, very true. Okay. I don't know how the thing came on, but okay. Are we breaking the chain? Okay, yep, we're activating LEXI. Revealing a Bolton shot. Okay, opening up that arsenal. That's fair. Doesn't always have to be on one card in there. You always prefer it. Pitching a yellow Bolton shot. Showing Ice Vein. Do we have the ice card to pair with it, though? So this should be go again. Again, that can't tell. That does look like a red. So this will be a 5 go again if it hits. Discard a card from your hand unless you pay a red. So no matter what, I believe we're seeing at least 2 cards. Hold on, we might. Is your honest block with 3 cards? Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can spot what cards those are to see what the block values are. Two, 4. Oh yeah, because yeah, those are 2/2 block. Oh wow, yeah. So I was just choosing not to take any damage from it because they're going to just lose a card anyway. Which means obviously Chris has free reign the rest of the turn. It does like there's another Bolton shot or maybe a Pathing Helix as that arrowed on the left. We're gonna activate Voltaire. Oh. Maybe that's a 3 of a kind. Hold on, that might be a 3 of a kind. Give me 1 second. See, the glare on the lighting is not to roast, but okay. This is every 3 of a kind. So it was 3 of a kind and a Winter's Bite. Yeah. So this is again me showing you guys the Rain Razors by itself is just one Chris multiple turn cycles in a row. So we see Cashin, CMH, Amulet of Earth. Oh boy, Amulet of Earth is not the card you want to see right now. It does not have a block value, and Cashin only blocks for 2. CMH does block for 3, which is pretty nice, but this game does look over. And this is all going to be on top of an Ice Quake, yeah. We're leaking damage, and we're Oh boy. I know I am supposed to be analyzing this here, but this is just tough. Wow, did he still have 3 Chilling Ice Fangs? He just literally just saw 3 Chilling Cod. Chris is actually just unlucky as well. Like, luckily he does have Ice Quake to be Disruption. Wait, hold on. That middle card looks like it might actually be an ice card. Is that, and that's a third 3 of a kind too. Some things in life just aren't fair. I think this is correct. So, if I was Chris here, and I really just wanted to do something smooth here, so you could attack with Chilling Ice Fang, or fuse it. See if you can get cards out of their hand. Obviously, if it hits, you're getting cards out of their hand either way, but kind of probe them, see what they're going to do. Because if you can get this Bolt and Shot in hand and you want to just extend your turn, you can actually put the 3 of a kind in your arsenal and then play from your arsenal. Now, obviously, this would be kind of going overboard here, because unless you draw some very, very specific cards like multiple Bolt and Shots, I don't really think that you can extend too far. I mean, obviously, you can look for very specific arrows, and then you can kind of just craft your next turn however you want. Well, that could be something that Chris could do if he wants to extend. But I do believe I see the ice card. Okay, so we see the ice card. So not only is this getting pumped by Ice Quake, this is going to be coming in for 8 go again on hit. Crit a Frostbite on hit, discard a card unless you pay red. I think we just see Rihanna just line up 3 cards here. That's the one unfortunate thing about BRAIR, because there are some 2 and 0 blocks in the deck that you have to run. And as efficient as BRAIR can be at blocking a lot of times, sometimes you just run in situations like this. Yeah, it's still Ravenous Rival there, dog. So we're going to see a 3-card block, so it's not going to hit, which is cool. But unfortunately for our hero, everything else this turn is going to hit. Oh, that chips in. Wow, it actually chipped in. I mean, again, so now, Ronald can't even play anything. Not that I can play anything anyway, because again, Frostbites, but this is... Games like this is what makes people think that LEXI's like OP. I will openly say. This is only coming in for 4. So we're not really doing that much damage, but we are seeing the life total obviously go down. And importantly, this is going to be another turn cycle that we just don't see any return damage. One shot's going to come in for 3. Just look at this life total discrepancy. This is just insane right here. Like, just for Rihanna just to recover this, it's going to be multiple turn cycles. And I mean, multiple turn cycles of leaking like 5 damage here, 6 damage here, 3 damage here, like 9 damage here. And this is all without hoping like Chris doesn't have another turn like this where he's just barraging multiple attacks, threatening like the hand and the life total. Because you're at a life total where like a Rain Razor turn might just kill you if you don't draw enough block. Because you no longer can block with your equipment here. Chris still has access to all of his equipment, besides obviously the Snapdragon Scalers, but it served its purpose already. This is, again, I don't know how many more times I say it. This is extremely dangerous, and again, this goes back to that first turn. Pulling Rain Razors off the top, and infinite pressure. This is the quintessential LEXI game where when you put LEXI together, this is what you plan on happening. Is that a blink? No, it's a lightning press. Okay, I thought I'd seen a blink. And thank God for the 3 of a kind, just because the hand is not actually that great. You know what is great? Giving your opponent a Frostbite. That seems pretty cool. So throwing out this... I mean, sure. Oh, wait, yeah, the frostbite. So let's actually talk about the decision to even attempt a tunic to pay for this. And why this, I do think, is correct. Obviously, it is not the most advantageous thing to do, but this is what's required. So let's say, I don't know, let's just say Rana has a blue. He's going to pitch. She's going to have 2 floating resources, right? So now you're down a card. So now this card's just gone. Let's just say this is the blue. This card is just absolutely gone. And now you're just left with this. You're just left with this. Chris still has 4 cards in hand. Let's just say one of his is a blue and he pitches as well. And we'll give him the max amount of resources as well. He's going to activate Voltaire. And now let's give Chris just like the average card. Let's just say he puts a 1 for 4 in there. So now he's going to have his card. He's going to give it a go again. He's going to go on a 1 resource floating. He's going to shoot 4. So what is this 4 doing? Let's just, these don't even have on-hit effects. Well, you can't block with hand equipment. Now this would take you down to 14. Just like, sure. Still got 3 cards in hand. Technically got an arsenal. We're doing alright. Now let's load it again. We have no more floating. Now let's just give him another 0 for 4. Let's just give him another 0 for 4. Technically 1 for 4 because of Voltaire. Let's just give him another one. Now he's going to send this one with go again. He's going to have 1 card in hand still. Let's say this hits. Now you're down to 10. And he's just satisfied with that. Let's just say Arsenal's a nice card. I think he's fine with doing that, right? So now you're going to go into your turn as BRAIR. You will have 3 cards in hand. Cool. We finally get to do something back. But it's going to be 10 to 35. You somehow, some way, I don't know how, need to recover 25 damage with 3 cards. Because that's the only way you're going to get Chris to block. You need Chris to block. So you need to send 25 damage. You have no physical way of doing that with 3 cards, especially these 3 cards. Especially not these 3. So obviously we know what this is, right? Let me clean this up. So we know what this is, right? And let's say we put him at that theoretical 10. We know what this card is, and we said this card's gone. This is a promise play, so this is going to come in for 3. So let's say he pitches and plays CMH. So now we can throw Ravenous Rabble for 7. Let's just give him the best chance possible. He's going to come in for 7. Chris is going to say, yeah, seems alright by me. I see, hold on, let me. He's gonna just take 7 and like it, right? Let me just improve this real quick. Sorry, we're doing this a little bit live. Alright. So now Chris is going to be at 28. You said good. You're finally on the board. Cool. You still have an 18th to 18 life difference. Chris is perfectly fine. He expected to be here anyway. He didn't expect to be at 35. Okay. So now we're going to come with Promise 1. I do need to actually read Promise of Plenty real quick. I believe as long as it hits and you don't have an arsenal, you get an arsenal. By the way, cool. Just give LEXI an arsenal, by the way. If for some reason it doesn't. Let me actually look this up live. Because I do want to make sure I am speaking factually. Promise of Plenty. If this hits, each hero does not have a card in their arsenal, puts the top card of their arsenal face down. A promise penalties from games go again. So it's not from the arsenal. So this has no go again. And we have no resources floating, because obviously we use our tunic. Promise of Princely comes in for, actually also let me see how much it comes in for, the red one. Comes in for 3. So this is going to be 6. Hey, 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 hey. Stop that. This is coming in for 6. And you're thinking, great, we did 6. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to take another 6. You've gotten Lexi down to 22 from 35. Hey, that's better than you did. Cool, you still have a 12 life gap. You got to use technically a full hand, right? You got to technically use a full hand. And you did do damage. You did 13 damage. But you're still down by 12. And you're asking Lexi, can you at least chip in, let's say, 4 damage and get 2 cards out of his hand? Let's say now, Chris only chips in 4 damage. Now, Rana's at 6. Chris will probably still get an arsenal. But hey, you have a CMH turn. And that's the thing about the CMH turn, you really don't want to block when you have the CMH. But because you don't have equipment, because you don't have an embodiment, well, you would have a embodiment of Earth. So, depending on when it gets thrown, maybe you can have a little bit more life. Let's just, again, we'll just say that's 6. So now you're asking 2 cards to now make up what was a 12, but is now a 16 life gap. You're asking 2 cards to do this. And let's just both make them 0 for 4s. So now, yeah, you did 14. Yes, sir. We're in there. You did 14. And take it on to 7. And you're like, dude, this game's actually gotten really close. Except it hasn't. Because Lexi's not going to block. Now Lexi has a 6-card hand. And you're asking Lexi, can you do 6 damage? And if you can't do the 6 damage, can you at least strip 3 of the cards out of his hand? Can you leave him with only 1 card in hand? Because that tunic's not going to be back at 3. So he's not like mixing anything in. Can you leak 2 damage and get all the cards out of his hand? Bring him down to 4. Now he has to pass it back. Even if you don't have your own arsenal. Now you're saying, can you deal 4 damage? Well, probably. 1 card can do that. You might get his whole entire hand. But hey, let's say you saw 4. Cool. Lexi goes back to the turn. At some point of this push and pull, Lexi will come top. The only way that this whole balance gets interrupted is obviously what comes off the top. Now, I didn't speak about any RNG when I explained all this. Now, this is one of Ranger's big problems, is the way you have the deck set up, you can get a lot of really awkward draws off the top. And if Lexi goes like 3 non-attacks and like 1 attack, well, you're not going to push through that much damage. You might actually just give BRAIR back tempo, which is exactly what they need. But you probably are just content to block until you can actually find a damaging turn, but who knows what BRAIR could do in that time. And this load could be flipped. This could be 3 attacks, 1 non-attack. Depending on the colors that you get, you might be right, you might not, who knows. One big thing that can skew all this is if you get your ice cards. Your ice cards will lend you with disruption. Ice is a big reason that you can win this matchup. Even if the only thing you're saying is a Chilling Ice Feign for 6, well, that's guaranteed 2 cards out of your hand, because if you block with 1, you still lose a card. You take 6, well, you just took 6, so we already have an issue there. And you're still losing a card, because again, you don't have equipment to help soak damage. So, hopefully I know that went to like a really big thing, but I think there's a lot of very, very small things, like just this winner's bite played and with Lexi, and then looking at the life totals. you can pretty much map out how this game is likely to go, given like the average turn cycle of each player. Let's continue. So we're seeing a card pitch. We see an Ice Quake. Okay. So a Max, he can only really get attacked 2 more times. We see a Tunic. We see a 3 of a kind. Okay. Boom. We're gonna refill the hand. Can we get some fusion on? Can we get our fuse on? It's not as necessary because we have the Ice Quake. I would like to see something like Changai's Fang. So we're gonna activate Voltaire. We have 2 floating. We're gonna see the Frostlock. I assume we have go again. We do have the fuse, so the Frostlock's gonna come in for. I can't tell what color this is. Again, appears to be a red. I'm just gonna say it's a red. So this is gonna come in for 8. This is gonna be 8. You can't pitch or play anything that costs 0. Wouldn't you look at that? You have something that costs 0 right there. What's that? Something in your arsenal costs 0? Well, that sucks. Looks like those 2 cards are completely shut down by 1 card, just hitting for a minimum of 1. And we're gonna have to send all 3 cards in front again. Because if just one of it hits, most of your turns shut down either way. I don't think there's a world where you let any of this hit. Like, as scary as anything off the top, or in the hand, rather, could be, this just guarantees that your turn's not happening. Unless, like, you just want to block with that card. Because there's the thing, you can't CMH. You're going to have frostbites. Like, if this hits, you can't play the card in your arsenal. It's not even like you can just get the card in your arsenal and put the CMH in arsenal. And again, you'd have to pitch to do that, too. Your card is still Ravenous Rival, by the way. I did want to point that out. It has been a Ravenous Rival since turn 2. It is not changed. I also don't know what we're counting here. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a little toxic here. I don't know what we're thinking about. You put this in front of this. No, or however much this blocks for. So the blocks what 3, 5, 7. Because I assume this is a 2 block. Let's just give it a 3 block. Let's say you can perfectly do this. You don't have a turn either way. You're not having a turn. Because either A, one of these 2 things at a time, you put all these cards in front of this. You don't have cards in hand. Cool. B, this hits. You can't play this. You can't play this. You can't play this. Because you have this. Just one of these. And again, if this hits, that means you now have 2 of these. So you can't even get cute and like pitch to Tunic to get the resource. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rewind. You're gonna see this coming for 8. You're gonna be like, man, that's a really decision. Bam, full send. Full send in front of that. There's no raw option here. There's really no raw option. Are we just taking this? There's just no way, right? Did we... Okay, I see. We activated Tunic, paying 1 to go to the Frostbite. Okay. So now you might actually have an opportunity to play the CMH, except you're not going to, because you still need to... I can't right now. I can't. Oh, I'm not trying to talk to you, I literally just can't, dude. If this hits, you don't have a turn. If this doesn't hit, you don't have a turn. You're not having a turn of the way, so just save the damage. Alright, cool. We did it. We did it. We blocked. We microwaved, we erased our Tunic resource. Alright, here we go. Here we go, big plays. Big plays. This is... So here we go. So let me get this straight. We wasted our Tunic resource. We wasted it to go over Frostbite. Even though, if this hits, and you didn't block with your hand, you would get another one of these. So now we don't even have the Tunic for 3 more turns. If you were planning on doing this, you should have just used Tunic block and full send block this. Because you leaked damage. Still got a Frostbite. Lost card in hand. Now this is dead. You know what? Here we go. Pitch Tumble Harvest. Swing Rosetta for 2. I found the line. I found the line. I'm not trying to be that guy, but like stuff like this just tilts. Like, we got very, very fortunate that Chris's hand wasn't fantastic. But the really cool thing is, yeah, we still don't get to have a turn. So because that hit, you can't play that card in Arsenal. You can't Arsenal at CMH. Can you make it? We can make a rune chant, right? We can make a rune chant, right? No, doesn't anyone make a rune chant? Cool. So I'm actually getting angry. I'm actually getting really angry right now. So let me get this straight. I need to make sure we're on the same page here. We took damage. We took damage. Right? When we could have put our whole entire hand there and blocked it out. Even if we get Frostbites with another attack, our life total would still be higher. Again, we got very fortunate. Chris had a bad hand. But let's say Chris had a bad hand, we blocked out. Well, now we have a higher life total. I believe we would, I think what came for what I said it came in for 8 block 2. So you'd be at 18, right? Hold on, let me back up real quick. Oh dang, I hate Epic Pen so much. Hold on, let me. Came in for 8, block 2. Okay. So I forget how much I said this hand could block for. God dang it. All right, you know what? I'm getting off track. So we choose to take damage, right? We choose to take 6 damage, going down to 12. We didn't even make a rune chant like this. Okay, again, this sounds like I'm flaming a bit, and I do apologize if this does sound nasty, but like this is just losing plays. Now I understand like we're probably like this could have been long term at Keck. We're in the quarterfinals. We don't know how many people were here. You're getting bashed on by LEXI. Like this does not feel good. But like plays like this, at least in my opinion, are plays that are going to be made throughout the entire tournament very, very consistently. If you were going to take this and get the Frostbite, at the very, very, and I mean very least, we could have sent Rosetta Thorn. We could have made a rune chant. Now, if the argument is Chris has one bad turn, we can develop a CMH and go from there. Well, cool. You can develop your CMH, but now you're asking yourself to most likely have a 4 to 5 card hand to be able to send back at a 35 HP LEXI. That will take 1 to 2 turns to block out, and then start bashing you again. This is why keeping your life total a little bit higher there would have been much, much better. But we're sending prayers, really just hoping that we get lucky. Which, maybe, they think that they have to get lucky to be able to win this game. But relying on luck, I think in this situation is just not fantastic. So we're going to see a LEXI activation. We're going to... This is probably one of the best cards that we could see right here now, too. So what does this all do? This created a Frostbite. This is now, once we pitch a card, going to now attack the arsenal of the BRAIR player. Now we're going to ask the BRAIR player, would you like to lose 4 damage? No? Alright, cool. Take a card out of your hand. I want you to take a card out of your hand now. If you want this card. Which again, winning trade for the LEXI, because that's less cards to block. You don't want to pay for it? Cool. You're minus 4 damage on whatever you thought your turn was going to be. And because you have the Frostbite, that's another card out of your hand. So like, if you didn't want to pay, cool. This card's gone no matter what. It is no longer an offensive card. This card is now blank, pretty much. It's a cracked bauble. Then what we get to do is we get to draw a card. So now we can really just develop our hand. We can get more of a look at our hand before we can decide what we want to do. And again, a lot of this stems from just not proper, like, play. Yep, don't need the hypothermia. Don't need that. We chillin'. Are we gonna pay for this? I think I don't personally. I just wouldn't pay for it because that's one less card in your hand, and now like you have to pray to like you have to send prayers hoping like he has another bad hand that he can't just barrage you with attacks and make you lose the rest of your hand. And Endless Arrow, which is going to take cards, definitely. So we're activate Voltaire here. Chilling Ice Fane, do we have the ice card? It's a yellow. It's a yellow one too. So we're coming in for 4. We're coming in for 4. Like we said earlier. Now, maybe we actually block with Tunic this turn. Maybe we say the likelihood that we get a 3rd Tunic trigger and be like in a decent board spot is probably unlikely. So we could send like a 3 block and Tunic in front of this. You know what that means? As BRAIR, now you're down to 2 cards in hand. You think you're going to... We ain't erasing this left toe with 2 cards. This is not going to be this. Heck, it may not even be this with 2 cards. And here's the thing. You kind of have to block it, because if this hits, not only did you take damage, now we're at 8. You still lose a card. This is a masterclass by Chris Eiley. Don't get me wrong. Chris is playing absolutely amazing. But we also have seen where not properly blocking a threat assessment has really let us down here. Now, I think if they replayed this game 1,000 times, even with the knowledge of how some of these turns go, does this game most likely happen in a similar way? Maybe. I think Chris has gambled to Arsenal, a Bolt and Shot, and an Endless Arrow, and hope for a pump. You know, I think that was a very high-level play. That maybe if Rihanna knew that that was a possibility, maybe they play their turn a little bit different. Because obviously they chose to want to Arsenal something, and if they didn't Arsenal something, like Chris would just be -4, he'd be at 31. And like largely we'd be having similar conversations. Alright. So yes, Rain Rangers off the top definitely skewed this game. And that was something I told you literally the turn that happened. Literally turn 1 I was saying how it's going to skew the whole entire game and make this game like really weird. But there were chances that BRAIR could have gave themselves, and they wouldn't be at this life total. If they said, hey, I'm not going to have a turn anyway, let me keep my life total a little bit higher. But they didn't get to... Hello? They didn't get to the quarterfinals for no reason. Obviously, they were good enough. And like I said earlier, this might be a little bit longer of a tournament. But I was expecting a little bit better play. Oh, we have just a triple earth hand too. This is like no damage in the hand either. So this is a hand. Again, we just soak damage. Just soak the damage. Please put another card in front of it. Please. Please just don't block with one card. Please. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna literally cry. I'm gonna end up crying. Cause like, so like, here's the big issue with this right here, right? And not just soaking it up. And this is just stuff I'm trying to like push home, right? Yeah, if you hit me, if you throw 2 more attacks at me, I can just pay for them, right? You know what you can't pay for? This thing right here. You have 1 card in hand. And he's only activated Voltaire 1 time. He can load whatever he wants, give it go and shoot it. It could do negative 15 damage. He now has the opportunity, if it leaks damage, he could bullseye bracers and put you on lethal for the rest of the game every single turn, depending on what card it is. And this is only because you got 1 card in hand right here. With the life total that you had. Let's continue. Appears to be a pathing helix, looks like. So this is double pathing helix. Oh, nope, that's a, oh, it's a drill shot, okay. We're gonna activate LEXI. And Lucero upstairs. Upstairs. Ah, it gives us +1. So now, even if we block with this 3 block and Tunic, it would still hit and come back. This is guaranteed damage, and this is absolutely beautiful by Chris. I don't think a lot of people would have seen it. Initially, it is not a play I seen when he first arsenaled it. But the moment I seen 5, it immediately clicked why he was doing 5. Because, again, he's going to force damage no matter what. It does not matter what we do over on this side. Damage is going to come through, it's going to come back. You'll take 1 damage pretty much for free. And now we have our choice of an arsenal. Yeah. Now we just give it to him. So again, the same end result happens. We are left with no cards in hand. But we're at a lesser life than we should have been. And at this point in time, literally every digit of life counts when you're this low. And we're going to pass it back. And I think every single hand from Chris can probably do 9 damage. So I would guess that we're under lethal for the rest of the game, which is the worst spot to be in any game of Flesh and Blood. Where every time your opponent draws cards, I have lethal. Pitch on blue, so we're seeing lots of arrows this turn. And what I would like to see, and I think what he's doing, is he's actually not playing this Ice Quake yet. He's not playing the Ice Quake on, like, the first thing. He can, like, send, like, a random attack for, like, 4, right? Now the opponent has to make a decision where they want to take 4 or block. And both are incorrect. In this specific instance, Chris is doing absolutely a wonderful job of making your opponent always be wrong. And I think that's the thing you always want to do with LEXI. So let's just say we load up a 4 and we send it at this point. Well, let's just say we take the 4. Now we're at 5. We got a full grip. But now we got a Frostbite and 5, and our opponent still has cards in hand. And they, still casually have this Ice Quake and this Bullseye Bracer. Alright? So now you can just slow whatever, use Ice Quake, Pump, Lethal, say goodbye to the rest of the cards. Absolutely wonderful play by Chris. To not just send the Ice Quake immediately. Now Chris, I talked shoved. Don't do the dumb thing. Alright, cool. We did it. And it's few. So this is coming for 5. Oh, 4, sorry, go again. I apologize. So now this says, give me your cards. So if this hits, probably half the cards in your hand are turned off anyway. So now you kind of am forced to block this with 2 cards, which is absolutely horrible. Bam! We did it. This is something we should have been doing multiple turns ago. Now, I don't only think they're doing this because 2 of the cards are 0 drops, but this is a play that we should have done like before. Now I believe it might be too late. We should continue doing this, but he has 1 floating already? What? Wait. What? Am I missing something here? He has 1 floating. Oh, maybe he didn't have 1 floating. Maybe he just forgot to take the dice off. Alright. So now, hopefully Chris has done a thing. I hope he did. And it gave this go again. Because now, you're going to come in, if this is red, which it does appear to be. Now we're going to come in for 7. No matter what these 2 cards are, they're not blocking 7. At max, they're blocking 6. So now you're saying, give me both cards in your hand, and your tunic. Even trade. You take this trade. You've dealt damage this turn. Sorry, you haven't dealt damage this turn, but you time walked your opponent again. I think you're happy with that, because eventually you can draw a series of cards that can do it. Now I have watched Chris's pitch stack, and there are a lot of blues there. We do need to keep that in mind. And we have seen, I believe, all 3 of a kinds, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a world where Chris does run out of gas. But we're talking about running out of gas when your opponent's at 9. So like I do think we are fine, but we do need to be aware that a lot of the velocity of the deck is most likely coming to an end. Oh, he's giving a +1. Alright, so again, he's guaranteeing a hit. So he's valuing just constantly recurring the card over that, which, again, I do agree. I do agree with. Now, think about wow, second. That's tough. So what we're doing, so now looking at what he's doing, he's just planning on this endless arrow hitting every single turn, no matter what. So far, this endless arrow has chipped in for 3 damage, and it's just a guaranteed arrow every single turn. I actually do like this a lot. So we're going to time mark our opponent again. Our opponent is going to get up to 3 on tunic, but it's largely not going to matter. Now we're going to be on a tunic resource ourselves, which could be extremely important. Like I said, Rana's just really waiting for a dead turn, and I don't think it's going to happen. Alright, what are we pitching here? We're pitching another blue. Activating Voltaire. Looks to be Bolt and Shot and a Blizzard Bolt. Alright, we got the Blizzard Bolt. We're going to send the Blizzard Bolt, most likely go again. Appears to be red. 5 go again, grabs 2 cards. We're going to activate Voltaire again. Send the Bolt and Shot. It's going to come in for 5 with go again. Give me the hand. Now this physically can't be blocked. Fortunately, it doesn't have go again. But, okay, I don't know what this card is. If this is press. If this is press. Oh my. I actually didn't look at his hand, but I was like, oh, this is press. That's so dirty. That's GG. Wow. Alright, so I kind of... I didn't actually expect the lightning press there, because I think I've only seen one. I don't think we've gotten back to the cycle yet, but obviously he would be playing multiple. But kind of going back to what we talked about earlier. Now, again, I did like bash on this player a lot, and that was not my intention. I was just saying there was a lot of sloppy play that led to this exact score. But let me not take away from our world's runner-up, Chris Eiley. So, sorry to this player. Jesus Lord, what are you on this player? On LEXI, no less. This is a good showing for LEXI. Okay, LEXI is a deck, if you guys know me well, that I piloted for a long time to pretty good success. And I am iffy on her in this meta. Obviously, I think she can do this to almost any hero. And it does cross the stars align. And I think the stars align. And why was it? Hopefully Editor Isaac is putting on the screen. But if he's not, Rain Razor's turn 1 is the start of all of this. None of this would have happened if we don't find Razors. I think genuinely, even if he finds a pump, let's say that pump is like an Ice Quake, so he can at least give the Bolt and Shot go again. Well, that's gonna be 3 damage on that one, and then all the other arrows that he's did on that turn aren't also being pumped by 2. And it's not the total amount of damage; it's the damage per arrow that matters the most. And then the next turn, I believe that was the turn that we seen the Snapdragon Scalers. But by the way, only 1 Rain Razors was played this game. And look at this. Only 1 Rain Razors was played. Usually you would want to see multiple. Now, again, we did see 3 of a kinds all played. You go through the deck pretty fast there. And I didn't really get to check, but I do believe he had a weak pitch stack. Obviously, he had no way to shuffle it. But he was counting on things like this happening, where he was able to strip his opponent of all these cards, to where he most likely doesn't get to the second cycle, and if he does, his opponent will be out low enough life anyway. But if you are a LEXI connoisseur, if you're a person that likes to play LEXI, this is the game that I suggest you watch. This is the game. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like, favorite, and subscribe. If you guys are on YouTube, like I said, subscribe. If you guys are on Twitch, follow the channel. Well, I am on the road to 3 million subscribers. I'm hoping to hit it within the next 30 years. It's been your Siphon from Siphon TCG. Peace out.